Yeah, I thought it was Friday yesterday. But,
Ooh, that's a
that's
rough
cool.
one on a
Friday.
Wednesday. Yeah.
Nothing will ruin your Friday worse than realizing it's Wednesday.
That reminds me of one of my favorite Simpsons quote. Homer is laying on the couch. He's like, "Oh, I love lazy Saturdays." And then Marge goes, "Homer, it's Wednesday."
In 3, 2, 1. Welcome everybody to the Microsoft 365 Power Platform Community Call. I am your host, Paul Bullock, and it is February the 19th. I had to check my clock there. I wasn't quite believing the slide, but it's so far in the year already, so happy to be here presenting to you all. And we've got a lovely jam-packed filled agenda here with community updates on PPJS, CLI for M365, and a few other projects. We'll go through all of those in time. We've also got the picture time, so time to powder your noses. It took me months and months and months to get to look like this. So yeah, I've been powdering for a long time. And then we've got demos. We've got demos from Nicolas for SPFx powered announcement banner extension. We've got Michał Kornet here for Power Automate Actions browser extension updates, and Hugo Bernier is doing multimodality with building AI integrated SPF web parts. So lots and lots and lots of cool things to show you today, which is awesome. So if you're new to the community, we have an absolute ton of resources for you. So let's just work through them. We've got the community YouTube channel, which is filled with lots of our previous recordings, demos, all that good stuff that many of our wonderful contributors have produced over the many years that PMP have been running. We've got LinkedIn for our social media, and we've got the PMP repos. So we've got a variety of repos for different initiatives on our open source side. We've also got our sample galleries as well, loads of sample galleries, but of course there's all these resources here for you. It's a lot to remember. So there is a one single address, aka.ms/community/home. Well, that was your single pane of glass for everything we do within the PMP community. And just moving on. Oh, got the labels. We've also got other community calls as well. So on Tuesdays, the Microsoft 365 Power Platform calls run. So with the Microsoft speakers, so that's the chance for the Microsoft engineering teams to present their cool stuff to the community as well. And then we've got the weekly now Power Platform community calls for the Power Platform, and then we've got the Office add-ins calls as well. So we've got all these other community calls again. Lots to remember. So you've got AKMS/community/calls. And of course, if you want to understand, what is being presented on those calls, then check out our meetup for the agendas on those, which is super, super cool. And on Tuesday, we got some cool stuff coming up in terms of demos. Victor Valen is doing open source tooling for creating Copilot connectors, fast use and type spec. We've got Rashmi Mansur doing the introduction to Agents 365 SDK. So super, super cool. So that's on Tuesday. So absolutely check that out and learn some new cool stuff from Microsoft. Now, we're always on the lookout for presenters. We've had many wonderful contributors in the past, but if you're looking to present on one of these calls, you're absolutely welcome, and we'll also support you as well. So the team, David does a lot of the work behind the scenes of this as well. We'll absolutely support you through the process. It's super slick. You feel supported in terms of what you're presenting on that. So if you want to present, then register your interest on AKMS/community/request/demo to get that booked in and present your cool stuff you've done in the community. And then we've got over to you, David, for sharing is caring.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Paul. So Friend Sharing is Caring, for those that are new, is a live, hands-on opportunity to learn some guidance around contributing to the community. So if you're unfamiliar with GitHub or a little intimidated by some of those, phrases like pull request and fork and blame and raw and all that, we will demystify it and we'll make it super simple. These are live. They are safe space, which means we do not record them. And we've got specifically on deck contribution guidance for the upcoming SharePoint Hackathon. Woo! Woo! That's right. Super excited. We'll hear more about that here soon. It's going to be multiple sessions on how you can make your contribution to that hackathon the most efficient. So be on the lookout, ak.ms/sharing is caring. And also, when you do contribute to the community, whether it be a sharing is caring session or anything else, you can be recognized. So we've got our Credly powered program that has labeled this community best in class. It is absolutely free. We've got all those updated 2026 badges. Was just working on some more last night. So you see there the SPFx web parts, modern search, SPFx toolkit, script samples. Oh my gosh, so many more are available to you. So just get opted in if you're not already, ak.ms/community/recognition. Absolutely free, and you will see more of those coming up, and loving to see them shared on the socials. Do share them. They show that you are contributing to make a difference. So aka.ms/community/recognition, opt in. Only need to do it once. Again, thank you so much for making this an awesome program. Back to you, Paul.
Oh, thank you, David. It's such a cool program with lots of cool badges to collect. So absolutely seek those out. They are amazing. And over to you, Paolo, for the Agents League.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. Yes, this week and the next one, we are fully involved in the Agents League competition. There are 3 live battles. 2 already happened yesterday and the day before. One is going to happen today, Battle 3 about Enterprise Agent with Microsoft 365 Copilot, today, 9 a.m. Pacific time, so a couple of hours from now. You can compete with our guests and you can win a prize of $500, as well as you can get special recognitions from the community favorite agent and the product team pick. So go to ak.ms/agents league. See you in a couple of hours, and let's compete and try to win your prize. Thank you. Back to you, Paul.
Oh, that battle commence. Amazing stuff. Awesome. And over to you, Vesa.
Yes, so SharePoint is turning 25. We do have a online digital event on that day, which is March 2nd. That is a Monday, March 2nd, 2026. An AKMS SP at 25. You can register to that event. It will be broadcasted in YouTube. Registration basically means that you will get a notification whenever the broadcasting is starting. So it's a good way of actually getting that noted. Let's go to the following slide. As a follow-up on that event, we are then also executing a SharePoint hackathon. The cool thing about this hackathon is that it's not only for developers, and of course developers are welcome, but if you are a end user, designer, architect, and so on, you can actually participate. So there's multiple ways of actually getting involved as part of the SharePoint Hackathon 2026, and you will be submitting a video. You don't have to submit code, which is open source. It's storytelling, a video, how you are using SharePoint for the benefit of you or for your customers. So really easy way of actually engaging. AKMS SharePoint Hackathon is the URL, and you can win a Surface laptop when on individual categories. So which is really, really cool. Additional details on that, again, on that URL. Then I think we're going to go to the SharePoint framework details, unless I'm mistaken. Yes, so I will continue. Quick update in here. We just keep on updating this chart, showing that it goes up and up and up. I just love the Chris Kent's creation of that rocket. But anyway, SharePoint Framework is being used by tens of millions of monthly active users. The custom SharePoint Framework components are being used by tens of millions of monthly active users, and the growth is just out of this world. It's really cool to see. Let's go to the following slide. The latest version in production usage is 122.2. So 122 was released in December. 122.2 is a new monthly release, and monthly releases are addressing any NPM audit issues. So we want to keep the NPM audit clean. We are aware that there are right now potential 122.3 is coming out potentially next week. We're just finalizing the plan on that one, or it might actually get delayed until March, but because there's 3 new low-level NPM audit issues. The other thing which is rolling out right now is the debug toolbar. I think we will be hitting 50% worldwide this week, so you will start seeing that one when you're doing debugging of SharePoint Framework components within a SharePoint. And 123 preview coming pretty soon as well, most likely within upcoming weeks, which is really cool. But that's a quick kind of roadmap update for SharePoint Framework, and let's go to the open source projects.
No, thank you, Vesa. And just a reminder now, so it's a good time to enable your camera just to give teams that warning that, yes, you will be presenting to a group of us. So it gives the time for the camera to warm up. So ready for picture time. So moving on to the open source updates, we have the wonderful Copilot prompt library. So this is a place where you can share your prompts with the community that you use with Copilot. And this is absolutely the place to go as well to do that. And we have prompt of the week, which is Pranam who has done the VS Code Daily Usage Summary prompt. So that's a useful group of information around what you've been doing in VS Code, and I would love to try that out myself at some point. So, so it's always every day is a learning day. So absolutely check these out for you. So that's AKMS/PMP/prompt library. If you want to contribute to that space, we'll find out and see what other prompts are there for you to utilize. And yeah, now we move over to Julie.
Yeah, so we've got some updates coming. 4.18 is going to be released next week. We had to push it out because of the holiday on Monday. We have a small fix for Git folder by server relative path. If you have a hashtag in that path, it was throwing an error, and we fixed a graph channels return type that was broken, and there was a link in the documentation that was broken. So we're fixing those few little minor things, and that'll happen next week. But other than that, version 5 is in progress, and you can check out the nightly builds when they get merged in at the V4 nightly build. And that's all I have. Thanks.
Thanks, Julie. I've got to love those relatives. And over to CLI for M365 updates with Martin.
Yes, CLI for Microsoft 365. We are working on new version. What's new? We have updated SharePoint framework commands to allow you to update SharePoint framework projects to the latest version. For SharePoint Online, you can connect and disconnect hub sites as an admin. You can try out the beta version either using npm or running it via Docker. And if you are upgrading from version 10 or older, please check the upgrade guidance. And as always, we would love to see you in our community, so join us on Discord. Thank you. Back to you, Paul.
Thank you, Martin. That's brilliant. And next we have DevProxy. So DevProxy is a tool where you can simulate API calls or intercept that traffic, and then you can do analysis on it or repeat exercise. So if you can test different scenarios, so for example, failover and things like that. So DevProxy 2.1 has been released. You've got configuration hotload, SDO traffic proxying, and you've got a new API support command and Leslie plugins and core support as well. So lots of cool stuff with DevProxy. If you're a developer and you want that extra layer of handling for different types of scenarios, so for example, if the service went down, you can simulate that through the tool. Then absolutely check this out. And I'm really only touching the tip of the iceberg with this tool as well. And there's also an MCP server as well if you want to utilize that in your project. And over to myself, I think. So reusable SPFx controls. Again, these are components that you can reuse in your projects. So check out 3.23.0. Clearly, I need more coffee, which was released back in November. So check that functionality out and use those in your project. So you don't have to start from scratch. You can use these controls within your project as well. So absolutely go and check that out. Next, we've got SharePoint Framework with Nico.
All right, thank you. We already released minor version 4.17.0 with the added support for SPFx 1.22.2, and we are already preparing for version 1.23 in March. We added a copy SharePoint Online page large language model tool, and we also updated the add SPFx component action to always install dependencies after the current SPFx project was extended. Be sure to check it out because, maybe the SPFx toolkit can help you with forming your SPFx solution, which you may want to contribute to the SharePoint Hackathon that is upcoming. Thank you. Back to you, Paul.
Cheers, Nico. And next, we've got PMP Modern Search with Casper.
Yeah, thank you. The latest release 4.20 was released this morning when I pushed the button. So we have that for test for like 3 days now. Just going through making sure that we don't have any bugs that have been introduced lately. What we have primarily fixed is setting the default font, because we can choose the font now for various web parts and stuff. But I missed setting the default, so that's back again. And then we have been working on making sure that Microsoft Search as a data provider is providing the same out-of-the-box experience as you have seen for years with SharePoint Search. And then we have a fix that have affected some people where if they download a lot of files in one go, they had a problem creating that zip file that actually is the container for the files that you can download from your web part. That's been fixed. And then a minor issue related to the data picker as well. Broadly speaking, we have top of mind right now is that we are replacing Gulp with Heft because that sort of like goes with the tool chain. And then we have put a lot of efforts into making sure that Microsoft Search is now becoming a full member of the family as well, because so far we have had some issues with that, but we are getting there. And then we have the hierarchical refiner is also in the works. And then we're looking forward to contributions from you as well, because we might have our ideas what's important, but you are the ones who's actually using it. So let's hear what you have of ideas. And of course, your contribution always enables you to get the search badge as well, and that goes both for code that you actually commit to the repo, but also for samples, because we have a repository for samples where people can show off the beautiful layouts that they have created. So in both cases, you are able to get the search badge as well for your contributions. So looking forward to that, and back to you, Paul.
Cheers, Casper, and a beautiful set of updates there. So thank you very much. And over to you, Hugo, for SharePoint Framework examples. And you're on mute.
How about now? All right. Fantastic. So we have a repo, or several repos actually, that allow you to share your SPFx samples. We have a web part sample repository and an SPFx extension sample repository. You can get to all the samples by going to aka.ms/spfx-webparts. These are the latest updates. We have 2 new web parts, the React Dynamic Poll by Ari Gunawan and a drag match by Sai Sivarambandaru, or Sai. You can get to all those samples again. If you are looking for samples outside of the web parts and extensions, you can also go to aka.ms/community/samples, and that includes all sorts of cool samples. If you contribute to our sample repository, you will get a fancy badge. We have the 2026 edition, so we look forward to see what you have to share. Back to you, Paul.
Oh, thank you, Hugo. Wonderful update there. And over to David for some ACE updates.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Paul. So Anu couldn't be here, but he wanted to share that he is super excited for the new 2026 badges that are available to everyone. So if you have an idea for an adaptive card extension, get it submitted. Him and Derek are doing an amazing job in managing that repo and would love to see some new, fresh ideas. So don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions as well. And now, what time is it, Paul?
It's time for picture time.
That's right. So get those cameras turned on if they're not already, and I will share out my screen. We'll get this captured. We'll move this over here. There we go. We're in the auditorium today because we've got some learning to do. It's going to be awesome. We're just a couple minutes over, but I'm sure we can make up for it. We are an efficient group. It is going to be amazing. There's Don doing this click, 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 jow, and seeing all my favorite people here. I love it. Excellent. Okay, let's give it just another second or two. I still see some cameras getting turned on, so great to see you. There's a phantom seat next to Don. He must be saving it for someone, I'm sure. Yeah, something like that, right? And then Hugo is sinking in his chair. So, all right, let's give this one more second. We'll start the countdown, everybody. We'll do the 3 and the 2 and the 1. Let's wave to the community. Thank you again for being amazing and supporting this community every single day in all the ways that you do. These programs and initiatives would not be possible without you. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We will get this shared out on the socials, and we will be sure to share it with everybody. All right, Paul, feel free to take back on over, and let's get to our amazing presenters.
Next, it is demo time. Right, Nicolas, you're up first. Are you ready to take over?
I'm ready. Let's see if we
Brilliant.
get this
If you
team.
can take over sharing. That would.
Yes.
And then take it away.
Let's do this. Give me 1 second, because
share like this and do it like this. Sorry, working with one screen here.
I feel you. I feel you. It's all right. It's all right. I got you back.
Here. Can everyone see my screen?
Yeah, it's coming through. Yep.
Resolution's good. Perfect. So
Can
I'm going to present my announcement banner SPFx extension. So basically, it's an alert banner, announcing banner that a lot of my clients and like people I've talked to has felt has been missing in SharePoint since Modern came out, and I built it basically. So short, who am I? My name is Nicolas. I live in Gothenburg, Sweden. I'm a Microsoft 365 solution architect and SharePoint lead at a company called Exobe. I mostly focus on intranet, governance, and lifecycle management, and I do some custom solutions. My specialty is large international organizations, mostly between 5,000 users to 350,000 users. I'm an MVP within SharePoint and 365 development, and I do this stuff at my spare time for fun. So what is this? This is an extension built on SPFx. It was built to fill a gap, basically, for showing announcements and alerts notifications to users. So this is something that was available on classic SharePoint, but not really available in modern. This was something that a lot of my clients were asking for, like, hey, IT, especially HR and communication, like, hey, we want this, but we can't find a good solution. Third-party tools for this aren't good. They don't match the look and feel of this. The integration isn't as good as we want, etc., etc. So a couple of years ago, I sat down like, hey, let's solve this. And what my building blocks were, it needs to look like it comes from Microsoft itself. So it needs to follow the Fluent UI design. The integration needs to be seamless, like it should be easy for anybody to use it. And it needs to be user-centric. And we need to have like all the core functionality that was usually missing. And some key capabilities is it's prominently displayed on the top of the page. It shows up when you go to settings, it shows up when you go to site content, and we are in SharePoint. You have prioritization, so depending on how you prioritize these, like if it's a low, medium, high, it changes the order of it. You can force it to hide alerts, you can force it to not be able to hide alerts. I wanted to support rich text content, so we want to be able to put like styling on the text, we want to be able to upload images, links, we want to do anything. We want a user control so that like a user can dismiss this, they can read more, all of this. Something that was also missing from a lot of like third-party solutions were like simple targeting groups, targeting sites, and all of that. Having scheduling for it and browser notification. So I tried to integrate all of that. And most important of all, it needs to be a really user-friendly interface. So it's built on the latest SPFx that's currently out. It's built on React 17 and Fluent UI version 8. I'm following the Fluent 2 design language for this. We're using Graph API and REST API, and I built it on the latest Node. Yes, that's supported. As for accessibility, something that was really important for me is that it's CWAG compliant. So if you have colorblind and other issues, you should still be able to use this. And something that also was really important is a lot of my clients, like large organizations, they might have sub companies or daughter companies within their tenant. And you might want to make a post for one company, but you might not want to show it for the other. And these might be hubs, and they have sites associated to those and sites associated to those. So the way this works is that you have the home site. If you create an alert for the home site, it's going to show up on all sites. If you haven't specified, hey, I just want to show it for this group or this specific site. Other than that, if you do it on the hub site level, it will show on the hub site and all associated sites for that. So if you are on let's say, company B, and you're on the IT department for company B, it's just going to show for that company. And also site specific, so you can create an alert for just your specific site. So it should be easy to create, it should be easy to manage, basically. And it retrieves, so if you're on a site that's connected to the hub and you also have alerts from the home site, it will retrieve from all of them. So it should be as easy as possible to use. Something that was really important for me also was multi-language support, because we work usually internationally. We have multiple languages, and some might know English, some might don't. So you might work for like a Swedish company or a Finnish company, and the communication department is there, and they might have the default language for that, but you might be working in Germany and have other languages. So I've added multi-language support. Smart fallback, so it's going to check for your browser what language you have there. It's going to check what's your default language in SharePoint, what's your default language for your profile. So we have some dynamic fallback, and the default one is what you put in SharePoint, then what's in Azure, and then what's in your browser. And if we don't have a translation for all of those, then it's going to show you the fallback language, which is the language it was written in. And admins for these sites should be easy to manage these custom languages. So that's the idea of this. And something I've added the recent days is, because I've been working for this on my free time for a couple of years, I integrated Copilot for this. So using the new Graph API for Copilot, I've integrated that you can do magic draft where it writes the announcement for you. You say, hey, I want to do this. It's going to write it for us. You can do a sentiment check to check if, hey, this, how does this come? How would you say? How does it feel? Does it sound angry? Does it sound good? And then we also have AI translations. So if we are writing in English, I can ask Copilot to translate it for me for the other languages. So it's easier to us to use this to translate if we don't have, let's say, a good translation tool, or we don't feel that what's called Google Translate works fine, or all of that. So we have a backup solution for translation. And we also have template management, we have live preview, and we have also a list management, as all of these alerts are saved within the list. But I don't want users to go into the list and edit, so they do all of this in the interface, basically. So it's zero code administration. It should be really, really easy for the users to use this. So let's go to the application. So let me switch to here, and then we go. Where is it? There it is. So I'm just going to close PowerPoint. And as you can see, this is my landing page, and here on the top, here's the alert banner. So here you can scroll through the different banners, as you can see. And as you can see, they're depending on the language, most of these are in English now, but I can create translations for them and it will dynamically find these. You can expand it and see like the whole text and see images and all of that. If you press here, you have links, and you can read the full story if you're linking to the site or whatever. And here you can remove it, and here you can hide it, basically. And if you press edit here, then we're going to have because you need to have edit permission on the site or admin permission, you will see a settings cog for this, and that's how you enter the settings dialog for this. So if you press it here, we access the alert banner settings. So here we have templates. So these are predefined templates that are saved in the same list. You can create new templates if you want. You can edit these also if you want. On here, we can create new alerts. Here we can manage the alerts. So existing alerts, we can manage them. We can see how many languages they're in. Here I have English, French, Swedish, Spanish, American, English. So we can have multiple. We can pin a post, all of that. These should show flags, but for some reason, my Chrome on my Windows computer is not showing it. So I have no idea why. You can also change the prioritization. So this is how the alerts are showing up. And if you have a pinned one, it will always be the first one, but you can order them how you want. Here we have alert types, and here you can define like different alerts. So if this is an alert from for IT or an emergency, then that's set. And when you create an alert, then you can select the color or the type, and it will change the colors and stuff like that. And here in settings, you can enable different settings. For example, if you want user targeting, if you want notifications, if you want, for example, Copilot, if you want to prioritize border colors, if you want to repair the list, if you've done any changes and you broke the list for some reason, you can repair it. Here you can select what the languages you want to have support for, and this will add us to the list. And here you can select the fallback language and stuff like that. And here you can clear the cache if there's some issues and stuff like that. Here, if you set the settings, you can save it, and then it's gonna give you a success. Hey, we'll save this. If I want to create an alert, for example, I can press create alert, start from scratch. And here we have like 3 steps. You have the content, you have the actions and links and media, and then you have the publish. So I want to have an alert. I can select single language, I can select multi-language, and here I can add these languages. So let's say I do a single language. We have, we welcome the new CTO, for example, Eric. I can draft it with Copilot and then, hey, I want to welcome the new CTO, Eric. Write me a post for this. And I can generate a draft. This takes a couple of seconds for it to generate, and then it's going to give you a preview, and you can tell it to like, hey, I want it short, I want it longer, I want to change other stuff, for example. So it creates different text based on what your needs. So what I've added is that I have 3 different kinds of, I would say, tone for this. So here it generates the text, for example. I'll say, hey, I want to use this draft. And I can select that. I can edit here. I can also upload images and add emotions, stuff like that if I want to. I can do the sentiment check and just say, hey, what's the tone of this? We can delete this also. And it says that, hey, it takes this many seconds to read. The markdown appears within the HTML. We need to change that. I'm going to add markdown support also to make it easier for the Graph API. And also like formatting consistency. So it gives you some, how to say, hints on what you can fix. And if you press next here, we can target specific groups if you want, and we can add an URL. But I want to skip that, so I'll go to the next one. And then I can say, hey, I want to start now, like what time and date I want to start it. So it's scheduled for that. We also have autosave. So if let's say your computer blue screens where you need to restart and all that, you can do that and come back to it. But let's say I want to create the alert. I'm creating it. It's going to give you, hey, we're going to create it. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. And it's created. Something I need to fix is that I need to have some re-rendering. So it re-renders when a new alert is created. Also, I'm caching all the existing alerts just to minimize the amount of queries we do. But as you can see, the alert was created. And if you press here, we can see it. And let's say I want to go back here and say, hey, I want to edit this. I want to make it, for example, multi-language. And this was the wrong one. So let's go back. I want to discard, as you see. I want to find Eric, for example, here. So I can search and filter. I can filter on different things. If you press edit here, let's say I want to change from single language to multi-language. Let's say I want it in Finnish. Then I can press translate. There's a button here to translate all the languages. So if you add multiple languages, you can have it go through all of them. Or you can press here and just have it for the specific one. This takes a couple of seconds. It's going to query the Copilot Graph API to translate the text for you. So now it's going to translate it to Finnish. And this takes a couple of seconds. Let's see. You can also add files, attachments to this. You can change, if you want to change the alert configuration, you can add new links. You can change this scheduling. So I try to give them as easy management of this as possible. And here's the translated version. I don't know if it's correct or not because they changed his name, but I guess it is. And if you press save, then we can see that, hey, we have multi-language word, it's Finnish and English, for example. I also have that you need to submit this to see it. So you can submit it for review. If you submit it for review, then you can add some specific users to be the ones approvers for this. And this you can connect to the Power Automate, and it's going to send you a query, HTTP request to Power Automate, which will send an approval. And then when it's approved, it's going to update the list item. If I press approve here, then it's going to show up as here on top. And that's because I was the one creating the alert, I would see it from the start as a preview. And here, if I want to create new alerts, I can select the name. I can select icons, for example. So here I can press select icon, and I have all the Fluent UI icons available for me. I also can select the background color. So if in case I want some purple, I can select purple. Then it's going to change the side of it and the text. And I can select like the prioritization. How important is this? So I try to make it as, as flexible as possible, as easy as possible for the user to use. And yeah, that's it. If there's any question, just ping me. But this is my alert banner, and it's available on GitHub, so it's free. So just use it. Change it.
This is amazing, Nicolas. It's got layers and layers of cool functionality in there. So really, really, really nice work. So a huge kudos to you for this. This is awesome. Right. Thank you very much for doing that, sharing that with the community. So next we've got Michał Kornet on Power Automate Action Browser and Extension Updates. Michał, are you ready to present?
Okay, so thank you very much. So let me share my screen. And by the way, Nicolas, really, really nice solution. I love it. I need to check it later. Okay, can you see it? Yep.
Yep. You're good to go. Are you able to maximize your screen?
Yeah. Okay. It can like this.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you very much. So welcome everyone, and thank you for joining today's call. During this session, I will walk through the latest changes and improvements in Power Automate Action Browser extension. We have had a set of updates recently, and I will highlight what's new, what is improved, and how these enhancements can make your daily work smoother and faster. So hello, my name is Michał Kornet, and I'm MVP in the Microsoft 365 development category. I work at Accelerator 365, where we are one of the leading vendors of intranet apps in SharePoint store. Please visit my personal blog, michałkornet.com, and Accelerator 365 page to get more info about solutions. So quick summary about the tool. The Power Automate Action Browser extension was originally created in 2023. In the same year, I presented the initial idea during the community call, which helped introduce the concept to the wider audience. Since then, the extension has grown steadily. Today, version 1.0.16 is released, and we have around 1,600 weekly active users. The extension is most popular in Japan, US, and India, which shows that how widely it's adopted across different regions. Now, let's go through the description of new features that have been added since the first release. So the first one is the support for new Power Automate editor. This editor used slightly different internal structure for actions, and mechanism for copying works also differently compared to the classic version. Despite these changes, I implemented a smart solution that allows action to be pasted seamlessly into the new editor as well. The next one is Microsoft Graph integration. Originally, the extension was designed to create a smooth connection between SharePoint and Power Automate, but over time, I noticed growing need to automate the creation of MS Graph actions as well. In Power Automate, MS Graph can be accessed through different connector types, which means different endpoints fall under different connectors. To simplify this, the extension now automatically recognizes which connector should be used when for which request. Another feature focuses on organizing existing recorded actions. Since we can record many actions, I added search bar to quickly filter and find what we need. There is also a favorites tab where you can store your most commonly used actions for faster access. Additionally, action preview of the feature can be very useful when you need to check only a specific part of a request like URL or body. Another important feature in the settings section is settings section. In the past, the extension sometimes struggled to correctly detect the type of the page the user was on. To address this, I added the option to manually override detection mode. Now you can switch between automatic detection, recording page, classic Power Automate editor, or modern one. Additionally, you can define the maximum recording time in minutes. Another useful feature is ability to export and import favorites. It makes it easy to save your favorites action and use them in another browser instance, for example, when you're switching devices or setting up a new environment. It's also great for team collaboration. You can share predefined templates or a set of the most useful actions with your team, helping everyone stay consistent and speeding up onboarding process for new members. And lastly, side panel option. Previously, the extension could be open only as a pop-up window, which disappeared as soon as you click outside of it. Now you can also open it as a side panel, which stays visible in a persistent way. This makes it much more convenient to work with, especially when you need to reference or manage actions while continuing to work in Power Automate. So now let's jump into live demo. I will show you how the extension works in practice. So let me switch the browser window. So I will begin from the basic concept, why this tool has been created. So as you may know, under the SharePoint, there are many HTTP requests which are under the hood. So almost every UI action also triggers some HTTP request. So the idea was to catch them and use them in Power Automate. So when we go to the extension, when the recording button is on, then when we refresh the page, you will see already that we are collecting something. And for example, when we have actions like, I don't know, create item, and when we create something new, okay, save and wait a little bit. So this action should be also recorded in our tool. So it's this one. What we can do with this tile, it's we can go to Power Automate and to my clipboard section. Then when we choose this one and when we switch the mode, then we can copy the action. And what is good, we have all information filled in. So site address, method, URI, headers. So some headers are related to browser. So we should clean up it a little bit. And the body. So we can simply use something what is not in the list of actions provided by Power Automate. So what is new? We can do the same with new Power Automate editor. So when I switch the mode to modern, then we can choose again this one, and we can store it into clipboard, and then using this button, we can paste also the action. As I mentioned before, the mechanism of using actions or copying actions in this case, in this editor is a little bit different. So there are two steps more. So one is that we need to change the connection. And the second thing is that the action is wrapped by scope. So to have it cleaner, you need to take it off the scope. Another feature, which I mentioned before, it's connection to MS Graph. So we can also record this kind of actions. So the best example is Graph Explorer. Please remember that you need to be logged in to have the real graph request. So we can again switch to the recording mode, and we can record actions like, for example, get channels of the team. We can get tenant groups, we can get my profile information, and and for example, my messages. So when I come back to the tool, you will see that we have those requests catched to the tool. You can also notice that the icon is a little bit different. It means that we will use different connectors. So not SharePoint one, but in this case, Teams, Groups, Custom one, and Outlook. So again, what we can do with those actions is that we can come back here. We can choose one of them. Let's take this one. Yeah, let's take this one. Let's put my clipboard. Let's go to my clipboard section, and then we can copy it there. So again, like with the SharePoint action, we have URI, method, content type is get, so we don't have body in this case, but if it would be post, then we will have also a body inside. When I go to the app, you can see that it's quite short session, but I already collected a lot of requests. So another feature which I have added, it's favorites. So we can use this icon. We can click this icon to store it into in different tab. So this tab is more persistent way to have actions which are useful for us. So even when I delete all recorded actions, favorites will still there. So it's like a place where I can refer for something useful for me. What we can do with favorites, it's another feature. So we can export them to file. So we have then JSON file, which we can use for, we can, for example, give this list of favorites to someone else. So we can share it within the team. Or, for example, when I have a new instance of Chrome or the browser, then I can simply import the file, and then I will have these favorites back. What we can do with this file format is that we can store it somewhere. So let's imagine that you have GitHub account, you have your favorites stored here. So then you can go to raw mode of the file. Then you will get the link, direct link to the file, and then you can pull it here. And when you do it, then you will have these actions downloaded from this file in this section, which is predefined actions. So as you can see, you can store single actions, but also structures. So you can have like a scope in scope or something like this. It can be also copied, and it can be like a little bit like a function, which you can use in Power Automate. So another idea which I have implemented, it's not the actions which you store, but something what I generate. So using this option, load default actions, then you will get the list which I prepared. So now it's quite small, but the idea is to extend it and to make it bigger and bigger, and maybe to fill the gaps which are to fill the gaps of the actions which are not existing currently in the Power Automate, but maybe they are useful. Okay, so that's all regarding the changes. So maybe I can switch back to the presentation. Oh, sorry. So here I have big favor for you. So if you have any ideas or requests, or you find any bugs, then you can simply create a issue on the GitHub account of this tool, or you can also ping me on the LinkedIn and give me some advices, or as I mentioned before, ideas what we can add. And lastly, how to get the solution. You can go to the Chrome store, you can write Power Automate Actions Handler, and there you can simply install it from there. Or you can go to my webpage. There are also descriptions how to get it from there. So thank you very much for attention, and giving voice back to Paul. So thank you.
Oh, well done, Michał. That is an awesome solution. We should stop calling these samples, start calling them enterprise-grade solutions. These are so good that it's been presented. So awesome work there on that initiative. And last but not least, we have Hugo with his cool SPFx solution.
Don't worry, Paul. I'm not going to make mine an enterprise-grade solution. All right.
Just remember to talk at 1.5 times speed.
No kidding. All right, everyone. My name is Hugo. I'm the world's laziest developer. In fact, I'm so lazy that I wrote a web part to create web parts, and I use AI to do it. All right. So we've been covering this web part for a while now because this web part is supposed to represent all the features that you can kind of fit into a web part, and it's also targeted for maybe beginners that want to add coolness to their web parts. Last session, we talked about full bleed rendering, which allows the web part to render full page. Now we're going to cover a multimodality. What is multimodality? In AI applications, it really means that the system can understand and or generate more than one type of data or a mode. And it combines them in a single interaction. So that includes things like chat, images, audio, video, structured data, and even 3D if you're cool. Now in our demo today, we're going to show you, we already have structured data in our solution. That's what produces adaptive cards, and we already have text. When you add multimodality to your solutions, the one thing you have to consider is it has to make sense, right? I didn't do voice support or video support because it didn't make sense in this particular scenario, but I'll talk to you about using an approach to do that. To the demo. All right, so this is the web part that we've seen now, and we're probably sick and tired of seeing. If you click on Configure and you click on Edit Template, you'll notice that I have a fancy new button. Whoops. There it is, the attach image. Now, because sometimes you want to be able to describe something, but you don't quite know how to describe it. So you can actually just use a wireframe or an image or Figma or something like that, and just say generate this adaptive card. And if the demo gods are with us, it's going to be relatively fast, hopefully. But what it's doing here, it's actually uploading the image to the model. It's the model then is describing the image or analyzing the image behind the scenes. And then it goes and looks at the references for Microsoft adaptive cards, the schema, and it tries to render the exact same adaptive card. And there you go. Look at that. Woo, just in time. So it created the same thing. Oh, I probably should have showed you what I uploaded. That would make sense. This is what I uploaded. Come on. This is what I had uploaded. So as you can see, it's created the login page, even with the X and everything. So remember, it's within context of the previous conversation. So I can say, remove the X on the upper corner. And let's see what happens. It should be able to go past the context of the current adaptive card that is being displayed. It'll analyze that content and it'll go remove it. But since we're running out of time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do like a cooking show. I've also uploaded, I've prepared some other samples. One of them here is, oh, there you go. It changed. You can see we no longer have that X in the corner. Now, I've also prepared some other samples. So here's one where I uploaded this image here, where I said, go this one, where I said, go generate this kind of web part, and it picked up the information. It even picked up the shading, and it created a adaptive card. Now I could have said, make this adaptive card data bound, and it would have made it data bound. And then finally, again, we're running out of time. I took this adaptive card screenshot, and I told it to go generate that one. Oops, there it is. Now, again, it's AI, it's generative, it's not always kind of consistent. The first time I rendered this, it actually even rendered all the colors and everything. It looked really cool. But the version that it rendered just now didn't include the coloring. So how do I do this? Really quickly. I think I'm going to skip the part where I do the file upload. And I'm going to go focus on the documentation that we have right here. So hold on. In my OpenAI responses client, I have code basically for including a chat for my adaptive card. So it allows me to actually interchangeably use Azure, OpenAI, or OpenAI. And the one thing that I've added is a new parameter that's optional that allows me to upload an image URL or image data URI. I have my same old instruction I had before where I tell it, hey, you're always going to be generating adaptive cards. And I do combine all the information that the user has passed me in the chat, including passing the context of the adaptive card that was already uploaded. But this is the new part here, where if you go look at the documentation, learn.microsoft.com, Azure AI Foundry, OpenAI, and how to use image input and responses, you'll see that it says that I can actually, if I want to, I can add input images into my content that I send to the response. Now, you may say, well, wait a minute, the image that you selected are on your local hard drive. They're not a URL. How do you turn them into a URL? Well, if you're not familiar with this, there's a concept of something called base64 encoding and data encoding. And so this is a website that I use when I want to play around with base64, but this is something that's built in pretty much in the code that we have. You can actually go, if I go select and upload an image here, I'm trying to go quickly. As soon as I upload an image, it actually encodes the result of that image. And this is kind of, if I look at the code that it produced, it produces an ugly piece of data like this. And it's pretty long, but the one thing you'll notice is that, let's actually zoom in even more. I know it's a little blurry, but it actually creates a URL. Now, it doesn't start with HTTP or HTTPS. It starts with data : and an image / PNG in this case. What it's done is it's actually converted the binary into text, and it's attached it as a URL that happens to start with data. It's called a data URL. So that means that even if it's a file that I just uploaded, or even I didn't get a chance to show you, but even if it's a file that I copied and pasted into the chat box, it can grab that image, convert it to text, and then it's a valid URL. So when in my code I see, well, is there an image data URI that's passed in? I just add to my message content the feature to upload the image URL. And then I just send my body request, and I make sure that you include a model. If you're using this feature of uploading images, you have to make sure that you include a model that supports images. And then all I need to do in this case is I'm just sending a create post to the responses API. All right, so this was super quickly how to include multimodality into our application. Next session, we're going to show you how to build a UX gallery to actually allow you to pick templates from the community and use AI, of course, to do that. Finally, if you want more information about the topics I've covered, you can go to the URLs here. I have included both the Microsoft Learn documentation as well as the OpenAI documentation right here. And that's all the time I got for today. Back to you, Paul.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Nicolas, Michael, and Hugo. All right, awesome job. So we are here as a team. We're wrapping this up here. Paul lost his team's access, so we are going to wrap this up. Thank you. 3 amazing demonstrations today. Really incredible code, inspiring. Lots of opportunity to use this stuff and find out how we can continue to grow our understanding and use of this technology. So thank you, thank you, thank you. If you liked this call, and if you didn't, we'd love to hear about it. So we're always looking for opportunities to improve these sessions and calls and all of our different types of things that we do within the community. So please don't hesitate to let us know. If you've got ideas or you just like what you're seeing, we'd love to hear that too. Just do please keep it constructive and positive. And we also have our Discord. Woo, that's flying away. We've got our Discord server open, over 3,000 members now. This is kind of like a one-stop shop for anyone and everyone that would like to collaborate and conversate on different topics. We've got different channels across the different areas of the ecosystem of the community. So 100% free. Don't hesitate. aka.ms/community/discord. And the call will be available. The recording will be available within 24 hours on the Microsoft Community Learning YouTube channel. You can subscribe today, aka.ms/community/YouTube, and I recommend you do that. You'll be alerted as soon as the videos get dropped. It's usually sooner than 24 hours, usually somewhere around 12 or ish whenever we get it up there. So definitely go do that. You will be alerted as soon as it's available. You can also follow on all the socials, Twitter, X, Blue Sky, LinkedIn. We will scream them from those social mountaintops as well. The next Microsoft 365 Power Platform community is 1 week from today, February 26th. The next Microsoft 365 Power Platform product updates with those Microsoft speakers is on the 24th. So if you don't have those invites, you can get them at aka.ms/community/calls, or just go to community.ms and download them. Recommend you do that because that way you will always know exactly when these calls are. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your day, week, a wonderful weekend, and thank you so much for everything you're doing.